Hey, look, it's January, and if the statistics hold true, about 25% of you have already broken your New Year's resolution. Look, I'm not being negative here, but I'm an analytics guy, and the fact is the New Year's high is wearing off. Reality is setting in, and the world didn't magically become a calmer place just because we changed the number on the Gregorian calendar. See, the news cycle didn't take a holiday. The algorithms, they're already screaming about the next economic crisis, the next political scandal, and the next reason you should be outraged. See, most people look at this chaos and resolve to lose 10 pounds or make more money. And look, those are fine goals. They're great. Been there myself. But in the information environment, your waistline isn't your most valuable asset. Neither is your bank account. You see, your most valuable asset is your attention span. And right now, there's $1 trillion industry working around the clock to steal it from you. They want you anxious. They want you reactive. And they want you focused on everything except your own life. So today, I'm not going to give you a productivity hack. What I'm going to do is teach you a 2,000-year-old mental model that functions like a firewall for your brain. It's a framework that basically stops you from leaking mental energy on things that don't matter, so you actually have the fuel left for the things that do matter. And it's called the Dichotomy of Control. So let's break down how to use it. All right, to understand this firewall, we have to look at the philosopher Epictetus. He wasn't an emperor like Marcus Aurelius. He started his life as a slave, basically. He didn't have freedom, he didn't have wealth, and he certainly didn't have control over his physical circumstances. I mean, what slave did back then? So he had to develop a mental operating system that allowed him to survive. So he distilled life down to two buckets. So bucket A, things that are up to us, and bucket B, things that are not up to us. I mean, it sounds simple, almost insulting. But in today's day and age, we have completely inverted this logic. So let's look at where the average person spends their mental energy nowadays. See, they obsess over the economy, right? The latest algorithmic updates, what a politician said in the speech, or what a stranger commented on their post. Here's the hard truth. None of that is in your control, my friend. The economy will do what it does. The algorithm is a black box, and people are going to misunderstand you. When you pour your emotional energy into that bucket, you're basically investing in a stock that is guaranteed to go to zero. You're voluntarily creating anxiety because you're trying to drive a car from the passenger seat. Sounds like my wife. Just kidding. Sorry. Now, here's the part the self-help books usually miss. Why do we do this? Why is it so hard to look away? Because the persuasion industry, my friend, the media, the marketers, the political pundits, they spend billions of dollars engineering content to force you into bucket B, things that are not up to us, basically out of our control. They need you to feel responsible for things you can't control. If they can make you angry about a supply chain issue or a celebrity scandal, they have triggered your amygdala, which is your brain's fear center. And once your amygdala is triggered, you stop thinking critically, you stop planning, you just react. You click, you share, and you buy. And Stoicism isn't just about being calm, it's a strategic refusal to be manipulated. So how do we actually apply this when the world is on fire, so to speak? We have to stop looking at life as a binary, or we have to stop looking at life as binary, control versus no control, and start looking at life like it's an archer. The Stoics loved the metaphor of the archer. See, the archer, the guy with the bow and arrow, controls his training. He controls the quality of his bow. He controls his aim and the exact moment he releases the string. But the moment that arrow leaves the bow, he controls nothing at all. A sudden gust of wind could ruin the shot, throw the arrow off target. Or the target can move, fall over. See, to apply this to your life, we need to map your life into 3 distinct zones. Zone 1 is the bullseye total control. This is your character, your judgment, and your actions. So if you're rude to a cashier, that's on you. If you skip your workout, hey, that's on you. This is where 80% of your mental energy belongs. Zone 2 is the ring of influence. There are things you can sway, but you can't dictate, okay? See, your health is in this zone. You can eat right and exercise, that's the control, but you can still get sick. That's where you don't have the control. Your career is here also. You can do excellent work, but the company, well, they might still lay you off. Most high performers burn out here because, well, they confuse influence with control. They think if they just worry hard enough, they can force the outcome. Folks, you can't. And then finally, there's zone 3, the zone of concern. This is the weather, the past, the global economy, and other people's opinions of you. You have zero control here, zero. Yet, if you check your screen time stats, I guarantee this is where you're spending 90% of your day. And here's the neurological problem. Your brain has a limited amount of glucose, basically a limited amount of decision-making energy. When you spend your morning doom scrolling through zone 3, getting angry at headlines you can't change, you're basically burning fuel. And by the time you get to zone 1, your actual work, your family, your goals, well, your tank is empty and you have decision fatigue. See, the media wants you living in zone 3 because a frightened, exhausted population is easier to sell to. The Stoic, however, is ruthless about ROI, the return on investment of where they spend their thoughts. If it's in zone 3, it gets 0% of your energy, not 10%, not 5%, 0. So let's stop talking theory and do a live triage. What I want to do is show you exactly how to filter anxiety out so it stops paralyzing you. Let's take the biggest fear I hear right now going on. Artificial intelligence is going to take my job. So if you just stare at that sentence, you're going to freeze, right? You have to disassemble it. First, the global trend. You're in zone 3, no control. So let's say OpenAI is releasing a new model. The speed of automation, okay? It's going fast. You can't stop this. Worrying about it is like yelling at a hurricane. Delete it from your memory. Delete it from your mental RAM. Second, your company's adoption, which is zone 2, the influence. See, will your boss implement the AI? You can't control their decision, but you can influence it. You can volunteer to research the tools. You can be the one to present the strategy. Do that, then detach from the outcome, whether they adopt it or they don't. And then third, this is your skill stack. This is zone 1, total control on your part. Can you learn how to prompt? Sure. Can you learn how to use these tools to do your work twice as fast? Absolutely. See, spend your days, Saturday, your free time, watching a tutorial instead of reading doom news. You see the difference? The amateur worries about the hurricane, zone 3. The pro boards up the windows. That's zone 1. Your homework is to take your single biggest stressor and strip mine it for zone 1 actions and then throw the rest away. Now, there's a dangerous misconception about Stoicism that we need to clear up right now. If you go on social media, Bro-Stoicism will tell you that you need to be a robot, that you should feel nothing. I'm going to tell you that's not Stoicism. That's known as pathology. See, the ancient Stoics didn't say don't have emotions. They said don't be enslaved by them. Think of your emotions like the check engine light on your car, for example. See, when that light flashes, it's giving you data. It's saying something is basically wrong with your car, your engine. And that's useful information. You need that. But you don't stare at the light and scream at it. You don't let the light drive the car. You use the data to fix the engine. In neuroscience terms, your amygdala, which is the fear center, is the check engine light. It fires fast and it fires loud. But your prefrontal cortex, that's the logic center. Look at that as the mechanic. See, our problem nowadays is that we have an information environment designed to keep your check engine light flashing 24/7. So when you see a headline that makes you furious or a post that makes you jealous, that is a signal. See, the amateur lets the signal become a command. I feel angry, so I must type a comment. See, the think sharper approach is I feel angry. That is interesting data. Why is this specific topic triggering my insecurity? See the difference? This is called emotional domestication. You aren't killing the animal, you're training it so it doesn't tear up your house. So if you can't distinguish between the signal and the command, well, you'll be a puppet for anyone who knows how to pull your strings. And there's a long list, like the media, politicians, corporations, family members, and on and on and on. So here's a summary for the year ahead. It's going to be chaotic, okay? I'm telling you right now. The world is going to be throwing curveballs at you that you can't predict and you can't control. So if you try to stop the storm, you're probably going to break. But if you focus on piloting your own ship, your zone 1, you're not only going to survive, I promise you, you're going to thrive. So I also want to say we don't do passive consumption on this channel here. So here's your mission. I'm going to give you a mission. For the next 7 days, I want you to play the "Is this mine?" game. Every time you feel your pulse race or anxiety spike, look at the problem and ask, is this in my control? If the answer is no, visualize putting it in a box, sealing the lid, and shelving it, okay? Starve it of your attention. Now, if you try this and realize, Alan, I get the theory, but my brain physically won't let it go, That means your biological hardware needs an update before your software, so to speak, can run. You need to train your nervous system to handle the load. And what I did is I did a deep dive on the science of resilience. And in that video, I break down exactly how to train your prefrontal cortex to regulate that amygdala, the amygdala response automatically. So you basically don't have to fight yourself every day. You can find it by clicking here to watch it now, or check the description for the link. And I'll tell you what, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Think sharper, my friend.